Hello, it's been a long time since I've posted a video, and I know that there are some of you who were seeking me out because you left a couple video comments, and I appreciate that. That's really nice. My focus has shifted. I've come to a new part in my life. So let me start off the video by saying that I come to bear witness to the second coming of Jesus Christ to this earth, and it's going to be pretty wild because it's, I don't want to give too much away, but it's going to be pretty wild. You need to get your shit in gear. You need to get yourself aligned, balanced. You need to get yourself right with God. You need to seek out the Holy Spirit. Right now is the best time that you can do this. It's really, there's some really strong energies going on right now with the planets and the divines and the angels and whatever goes on with the energies and so on. But it's a really important time right now. So the way I'm going to be going about this is going to be strange, I think, for most people. Most people aren't going to get a lot out of what I'm going to be talking about unless you've kind of already been woken with the Holy Spirit. So if I start talking about things and you're like, this doesn't really have anything to do with my beliefs or my Christianity or my XYZ or who is these people she's talking about, or what are these really weird abstract concepts that she's talking about. Well, if you're not getting it, I am not here I'm not here to teach those who haven't had that flame already set in their heart. Like, that's not what this is about. This is about coming forth and understanding that the Holy Spirit's going to bring herself forth to the world, right? And we need to be prepared for that so that we can accept her into our hearts and minds and souls, because she is the bride of Christ. Let's put it to you that way. So, first off, let's talk about there is a natural order and structure to the universe. There is a natural order and structure to the universe because it's the way God made it. We live inside the mind of God, do we not? I mean, do we have real separation with God? Do you see that? So look at your own life. What structures do you see there? I mean, you're going to come across people all over the place who are going to tell you there's no right, there's no wrong, there's no left, there's no right, there's no up, no down, no gender. Those people are stupid, and you shouldn't believe them because they're dumb. They're literal, and they're deceptive. They're literally like this little scraggly kid who comes into the room like, no, you can't believe that, believe me instead. And you have to give that kid attention, otherwise he doesn't fucking go away. Except for the trick is that kid never goes away if you pay him any attention whatsoever. The best thing to do is just go like, yeah, that's a nice kid, fuck off. That's the other thing too, if you're sitting there going, she just used a cuss word, and I'm a Christian, and I don't like that, and that feels icky, and what is she doing? Go read the Bible. I don't know what to tell you. I just know that you go to church and you have this nice, fancy, white, pristine type looking place, right? Where the pastors don't know anything, where it's empty and it's corrupt and there's nothing there anymore. They don't teach the light, the wisdom. They don't teach the way anymore. They only teach what they know, and they don't know very much. So if you're having a problem with the fact that I'm a woman coming to you trying to teach you things about God, about the Bible, about whatever, you gotta question yourself. Because why would God put man and woman on this planet if he did not intend for both of them to be partners with one another? Like, you read the Bible, it's very clear. The reason why woman stands by the side of her man is because she is taken of his flesh. She's loved by him. He wants her by his side. That is the structure of things. This is why our world works. Our world doesn't work The way that our society is trying to force this gender ideology stuff, right? It's trying to force, us to believe things that just aren't true, that go against the natural order, the natural structure. And I'm not saying that you have to go out into your life and try to make some sort of huge physical change right here and now. But these are things to think about. These are things when you go out into the world and you're listening to your social media and your politics and everything else that's worldly, right? Of the world, here, now, this place, this illusion, this dream. If you focus on all that and you let that get into yourself and you're not thinking with your soul and your mind and your heart and all the different parts of yourself that make up you a full human being, your structure, if you're not using your whole structure as a human being to figure out whether or not that shit's true, like, you're gonna be deceived every single day of the week. You will be deceived as you're walking down the road and you see that ad on the screen and you think that's reality, and it's not. None of those ads, none of the things they try to sell you, none of the medications, the politics, any of it, it's all bullshit. It is all BS. It does not follow the natural structure and order of things. And it has been warped and twisted so completely that nobody around us really recognizes or wants to acknowledge it. It's that lack of recognition and acknowledgement that is a real drain cosmically on our world right now, right? We don't want to admit the truth. We don't want to see the truth. We don't want to seek the truth. The truth is coming whether or not we fucking want it. I just lost my husband a few months ago, and I have absolute faith that he's still there. I feel him. I love him. He loves me back. And we need to be more open and accepting of the other side, because there is another side. There's so many people out there in the world who want to ignore it, want to reject it, want to say that that's not part of reality. But you're rejecting truth. You're rejecting that spiritual realm. That's half of what makes you up. Do you not have an internal world? Do you not think with your mind? Do you not see with your heart? Like, I don't know, man. Do you feel? If you're not in it with the spirit, right? Like, I don't understand how you're living if you're only living half a life. Because that's what it's like when you're only living on the material plane, is you are living half a life. There is such a full, complex, and beautiful, mysteriously beautiful life out on the other side that we can experience too, but we don't do it. And, our insistence that this reality is the only thing that's here, that's what leads to destruction. That's what leads to chaos. That leads to a lack of meaning and wisdom in the world. It's like a raping of wisdom. Let's put it that way. It's horrible. It's wretched. And are you taking part of that? Are you taking part in this raping of wisdom? This brutality of Sophia? Huh? Do you sit there and wait for something to happen to you? Or do you seek out and try to find wisdom? Because that's where what you need to do. That's where you need to look. That's where you need to go. You seek wisdom, you find Christ. Okay? You seek Sophia, you're going to find Jesus. That's how that works. You seek the Holy Spirit and it comes, lights upon you and sets that fire in your heart. That fire that says, I love Jesus and the Father is my God above all other things. That's what that says when you make these choices, when you seek wisdom. Because those who reject the Holy Spirit, they're not going to make it into the heavens. They're going to be stuck somewhere else really unpleasant. And eventually when the tinderbox, when the matches get set and the whole forest gets set ablaze, you don't want to be outside that palace. You don't want to be outside the kingdom. You want to be within the kingdom, and you want to be safe and secure with the knowledge that, you've done everything that you can to serve your God, to serve your King, to serve your Lord. Because at the end of the day, we're nothing but slaves to the universe, right? We're slaves to what God's will is, His works, His time, His will, right? You have to give up complete control. As scary as that fucking sounds, if you want any control over your life whatsoever, as a human being, as a spiritual person, you gotta open up to the structure of the universe, and you gotta understand that you were a receiving vessel for the light of the world. Okay? Don't get bogged down by the fake stuff. Just focus on what's real, the real structure of things, what you see in your life. A mother and a father, 2 children, right? A daughter and a son. You have a mother and a father. They make babies. That's the natural structure of things. You have 2 children born, male and female. They have different natures. That's the structure of things. You have hierarchy. Let's talk about hierarchy. Some things are good, some things are bad, and we put that in a hierarchy. And it's all about, gradation and levels and stuff like that, but there's definitely gradation, and there's definitely levels, and there's definitely a difference. And it goes up and down on a sliding scale. And we need to be conscious and aware of that there are things that are better than other things. So the complacency that I see in the world right now with regards to politics, for instance. Oh, we can't do anything about politics. Those people are the ones in charge. No, they are not in charge. You let them have control because you've given it up. And that's the problem. You gave it up to somebody who wasn't God. You gave it up to somebody who wanted to not love you and support you and just help you through your journey. You found somebody who would control you. We seek control, whether we control ourselves through our relationship with God, or we have somebody else control us. If we don't think about who our master is, we are slaves to the universe, and that is it. That is all, and it is empty. And we are a slave to whoever comes along. That means that the guy down the road who you don't like, he could tell you what the fuck to do, and you would have to do it. Instead, isn't it better if you get to choose who you pay attention to, whose wisdom you seek, whose advice you go after? Why would you sit there and just accept what the authorities are telling you when they don't have your best interest at heart? When all they want to do is control you. When all they want to do is control you, they are acting outside of that natural structure. Because ones who are in power are meant to love and care and consider those below them. That is the role of a king, of a god, of a lord, is to care about those who are beneath him. That's what our God does, cares about us. He didn't pick David because he needed somebody to control the the Israelites. Sorry, they weren't Jews back then; they were Israelites. Let's keep it straight. But he didn't choose David because David was there to control the people. David had self-control. David learned really hard the hard way about not having self-control when he lost his own child to his foolish whims and desires. And the foolish thing about the whole thing with David and Bathsheba is that she was already his. She was within his kingdom. He could have grabbed her, taken her, made her his bride, done it the right way. And instead, he had a man murdered. And God took that child instead as punishment. Natural structure and order to things. You take, and it's taken from you. You give, and people will give you back. There is a natural structure and order to things. If you are kind to others, others will be kind to you eventually. If you're struggling in your life with, why don't people like me? Why don't I have a boyfriend? Why don't I have a girlfriend? Why am I miserable? Why don't I have a relationship with God? Why don't all these XYZs? It's because you're not following the structure of the world. There is a structure. Go out in nature. Meditate. When I say go out in nature, I mean you want to look at what's going on. Look at the animals. Look at the wildlife, the plants. Even just staring at a leaf for a long time can help. You know, there is a natural structure to everything. A tree doesn't grow tall of its own free will. It goes tall because it was designed that way. It grows tall to get towards the sunlight because its energetic properties are drawn towards what makes it grow. Just like us. So, my challenge to you, just go for a walk this week. Go for a walk. Hang out with God. And listen. You don't have to say a lot. Okay? And He's not going to say a lot either, probably. Unless you're really open. But you have to start the process. It is a process to open yourself up to God, to the universe, to be willing to receive those messages, because they work in conjunction with each other. God and the universe. God's the mind, universe is the body. We can't be a slave to the body. We have to be a slave to both, because there's no other choice. We don't have a choice. We don't make the rules. We don't make the choices. We don't change things. I can't go back in time and resurrect my husband right here and now. Not in his old body. It's been burned away. His old body is gone. It's down the river. I can't bring him back. There's a natural structure and order of things. But I still love him. And I know he still loves me. And even if I can't bring him back, I still would like to. But that's love. And that's part of the structure of the universe too. Is that love is that force that binds us together, that keeps us tied to one another. You don't tie somebody down by controlling them. You don't tie somebody down by forcing them to be what you want them to be. You tie somebody down with love and compassion and tolerance for who they are and who they are supposed to be, and allowing that growth. And, you know, that doesn't mean accepting that, you know, they're bad behaviors. Like, that's not something my husband ever did with me when he was alive, you know, here on this plane. He had this unwavering passion for me, a compassion, and a love. Not always the most tolerant. Out of all the people I've ever met in my life, he was the best one. And you should really think on that. Do you want to have wealth and money and power and all that bullshit? All that stuff that doesn't really mean anything at the end of the day, because we're all gonna leave this earth, ashes to ashes, dust to dust? Or do you want those memories of you, instead of being of power and control and money and wealth and stuff like that? Would you prefer that people were just like, God, what a shame, that guy is gone. What a pity. the world was so much better with him in it. He was special. He was loved. He loved. And we're going to remember him. We're going to keep his memory alive. We're going to have a place to treasure and love him. We're going to set a memorial to him because we need to. That's how you want to be remembered. You don't want to be remembered for the rest of it. It doesn't matter. That's not the energy you're going for in your life. That's not what saves the soul. That's not what saves you from yourself. We don't have to look past this world of illusion. We don't have to look past our own self-talk, our own self-worth, our own structures in our own heads. That's what we have to work on with ourselves, is aligning our structure with the natural structure. Once we do that, things flow much easier. But you got to get there first. So if you got something out of this, I appreciate that. Send some gratitude my way. That's all I ask for. You can hit a like or subscribe or whatever you want to do. I have no requirements or expectations of you. But yeah, my suggestion to you, other than going for the walk this week, and this will be my suggestion every week or every time I make a video, is study, pray, contemplate, and meditate. Those are 4 different processes, and they're all vitally important to you as a human being and as a whole person. So, I hope you all have a good week. God bless.